Today's video is going to be a quick introduction to Excel for beginners to help you feel more comfortable with the Excel application. You will have an idea of how to navigate the spreadsheet and also learn some shortcuts. The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to open our application. My application shortcut is over here on my desktop and I'm going to double click on it. You will land on this page where you are able to create either a new workbook or you can open an existing workbook. Today we're only going to create a new workbook by clicking on blank workbook, and there you go. You are able to save your workbook by clicking File, Save As, and then you can choose where you want to save it. You can alternatively also use the Ctrl S keys in order to use the shortcut. A single Excel file is also called a workbook. Each workbook consists of various spreadsheets. You can click here on the plus sign to create a new spreadsheet. You can even double click and change the spreadsheet name, and by pressing enter. You can also right click, tab color, and then also change your tabs. So for this spreadsheet, perhaps we can make it yellow. Sheet 2, we can make it another green. One sheet has many cells. This green box over here is called a cell, where you can input numbers and text by just start typing and pressing enter. Here we will write good morning, and you will see you have entered some data over there. If you want to delete it, you can just select it again and you can either press delete or you can just type over it by pressing enter again. Each cell has an address. This cell is address A1. This means it is column A, row 1. The intersection between a column and a row is called a cell. Each cell also has an address. This address is A1. You can also find your address over here in the name box. You will see here we have selected A1 and our active cell over here shows that we're also in A1. You can also use the name box to skip to other cells within the spreadsheet. For instance, if we want to go to E50, we can just type in E50, press enter, and you'll see there it has jumped to E50. If you want to go back to the beginning of your spreadsheet, you can simply press Ctrl Home and it will jump back to the first cell that you were at. Over here we have the formula bar. You will see we are currently in the active A1 cell. So you'll see the text that we've typed in here is over here. If we make use of the equal sign, for instance we say equal to A1, C1 on the active cell, you will see over here it's our formula. If we select A1 again, you will see the difference. You will see there's no formula over here, and that is evident by the fact that there's no equal sign. If you click, for instance, on B1, you will see there's also over here on the formula bar, there is no text and there's also no formula. Over here, we have our Excel grid. If you left click and drag over cells, you will see that we have selected multiple cells. This is also called a range. You will often see in formulas that we make use of a range. In this case, the address of this range is E4 until K13. The way that we will write it is we will say it is from E4 to K14, and we will write it like this over here. You can also select cells by activating one cell, holding the shift key and making use of your arrows. Like this is shift down and this is also shift right, the shift up. If you select an entire column by clicking on a column and right click, you will see there are many other options that you can make use of. You can, for instance, insert more columns, you can delete more columns, and same with the rows. Alternatively, if you want to insert and delete, you can also press down the control and the plus sign, and control minus if you want to delete. So control plus is for adding and control minus is for deleting. An Excel spreadsheet has over 1 million rows and 16,000 columns. You can see this by using the shortcut key control and the down arrow. Here over here you will see that's how many rows there are. If you press down control and the right arrow key, then you will see you have landed on the very last column of the spreadsheet. If you want to jump back to where you were from in the beginning of the spreadsheet, again you can hold down control and press home. Each cell also have a handle. Over here you will see that is the fat plus sign. You will see that is called the select handle. When this is activated, you will see you are able to select different cells like that. When you move closer to the border of a cell, you will see the move handle being activated. You will note this by a small cross with arrows on the ends. With this handle, you can move the formulas around or even the text. For instance, over here, we know that we have a formula over here. If you want to move that formula to a different cell, we can just make sure that we activate that move handle, and then we are able to change that. We also have fill handles to fill data. If we, for instance, click over here, we select there with our select handle, we can move over here to the corner, and then we are able to drag down and see it has filled. Same with the formulas, we can also drag down formulas and fill everything. You can also make use of the functions such as if you type in months of the year, and you don't want to retype everything out, you can make use of the fill handle by just dragging it down and it will fill the months for you over here. You also have, by clicking on this drop down arrow, you will see there are many other options that you can use. You can only fill the formatting, the months, you can even copy if you wanted to January everywhere, and that will be the original fill handle. If you want to make your cells a little bit bigger, for instance over here, we can see good night is too large for the cell. We can click over here and we can activate this drag option, and then we can drag it bigger. We can also just double click on it. It will drag your cell large enough to fit all your wording or text or even your numbers. If you don't want it like this, and you, for instance, want to make this column smaller, you can grab it over here, and then for it to just look a bit neater, you can drag it like you want it, and if you want to make it smaller, you can drag. So everything that applies to the column section also applies to the row section, so you can make it, double click and make it smaller, and that's how you do that. So this is the end of part 1 of the video. So you will be able to navigate your way around an Excel spreadsheet by now. Please feel free to practice this week and keep a watch out for part 2 in next week's video. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment below if there's any specific topics you'd like for me to cover, and keep well.